Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Romancer 3 Kingdoms 13 Post-Commentary Edition. Yeah. I was in a pretty good mood after doing that last video. I've discovered that, although in fact it's a huge waste of time to have to do these videos over again from the commentary perspective, it is much less stressful to play the game when you already know that you did as well as you did, and you don't have to worry about success or failure. I have, however, run into my computer crashing a couple of times because the new frickin' graphics card, which is not the highest of the high, but is, like, on the high end, keeps frickin' crashing. I hate Windows 10. I'm almost positive Windows 10 is what killed my laptop. Had nothing to do with the death of my desktop, but every time this thing frickin' crashes and I'm running it and trying to make sure I've got the latest drivers, I'm terrified my new frickin' desktop's gonna die because fuck Windows 10. Anyway. So we captured Xiangyang and blocked off the retreat. Now all we have to do is blah blah blah. According to the Scouts of Dispatch, Liu has marched out with reinforcements in an attempt to break the siege. Ah, fuck. Furthermore, Liu Bei of Xiangyang has been gathering allies amongst the people, strengthen his forces. We may need to guard against him. Please do that. Okay. I thank you for the report and for acknowledging me just a little. Aww. For my liege, I put aside my feelings. I acknowledge your plan, but not you. That will come after we win. Well, fuck you, hamdingers. Sure. And that is fair enough. Liu Bei righteousness, Xiangyang's plots, Guan Yu's valor, one by one, the three were mighty enough to turn the tide of the war. Yet we are no longer in the age of heroes, the land divided into three. Divided into three? That which decides victory is not the individual, but the group. Group think? Are you guys like the fucking Borg, or what's going on? And if you, my officers, will help me, then I will prove that's so in this battle. We have served our leaders over generations and boast bonds forged in the flames of friendship. All is for our liege. We make use of the strength of our group as you will. Make use of me. As you will. The time to settle this has come. Let's be off. Yay. So Shu army moves to invade Xiangyang with a host numbering 115,000. And at this point, we're thoroughly fucked. We've got less than 50,000. We're being attacked by a force that outnumbers us 2-1. And I think I'm just now, past JG is noticing, oh, we've already lost. We can't get there in time to stop Zhao Yun because the forces we left defending the city are completely gone. So I'm like, can I deploy? I've got 2,000 troops left. What if I just march? If I march, 115,000 are going to attack Xiangyang, and it will not resist at all. So no, basically we put ourselves in an unwinnable spot here. The way that we did that we won the battle at Xiangyang, we fought competently, our strategy could not succeed. Now we do know that Yuzhang can be saved by Ding Feng's force. At this point I think I'm trying to decide if it's worth dispersing these forces or if I just need to load. He's got 100,000 troops in Xiangyang. We're like, well, what if we attack? I mean, can they... Because we win the scenario now if we take Xiangyang without losing any cities. We have to take Xiangyang now that Liu Bei's retreat is cut off. So I guess I'm playing around with the idea that we could somehow take Xiangyang, but Ding Feng could attack and... No, come on now, JG. What do you think you're doing here? This ain't gonna work. So I'm like, if I disperse these guys and can just hold off long enough... Or what if you guys marched up to fight Zhuge Liang while I'm fighting Zhao Yun? Zhao Yun. Yeah, Zhao Yun. Like, could you get here and do something? Could you just stall? I'm thinking at this point, Liu Jun is going to have to fight both Zhuge Liang and Zhao Yun. And I'm just hoping he can get there in time to fight Zhao Yun before the city falls. And as you can see... Yeah, that's right. Patrolling Xiangyang is the answer to all of our problems. The answer is... no. Now, if you ask me if we retake Xiangyang, we should still be able to win the scenario. But no, you can't let it fall. Even if you have an army on the way that will be able to retake the city, you can't let it fall. So, we lose. We need to go home and be a family man. However, we saved before launching any attacks. So we're gonna step back, and yes, in a manner I'm safe scumming my way through this, but I figure it's okay because I don't want this to take as long as the Into Shu story took. And I know exactly what the issue was. We are under time pressure to take Xiangyang within a certain amount of time. However, I really rushed things, thinking that the time limit was going to be our biggest issue. In fact, we have until the end of the calendar year to do this. So not only was it a good idea to disperse that force, but Zhao Yun doesn't attack until we attack Xiangyang. So at this point, what we really need to do is fight off the initial wave of attackers and regroup. Come up with a new plan once we've got breathing room. Lebensraum, if you're a Nazi. Sorry. But yeah, once we've actually relieved the pressure, we can take our time and come up with a tactic which will give us enough troops to hold Xiangyang so that we can take Xiangyang. Xiangyang will not be in immediate peril, and then we'll have to come up with a plan to deal with Zhuge Liang. So we do have domestic commands at our fingertips in this one. And I think what past JG is doing is confirming what I already told you, which is we have until the end of the calendar year. Now it's the Julian calendar, the Julian Bashir calendar, not the actual Chinese calendar, in which this is like the third month of the year of the rat and the age of, you know, whatever. They didn't even have year of the rat and year of the goose or whatever back in the day. I think it was like the reign periods were based on which imperial dynasty was in charge, and this would be the third year of New Beginning, which was something that Emperor Xian had set up or whatever. But now the point is we have until the end of the calendar year. So past JG is mulling it over. But what's ultimately going to happen is I've reached the point where I don't think I'm super overconfident, but I realize that in order to turn the tide of a battle where I am outnumbered and 750,000 troops attacking that city, which has less than 20k in it. It'll have more than that when the forces get back. But we will be outnumbered. We cannot build up enough forces in that city to have a man-for-man even fight with Zhao Yun. And even if we do, Zhao Yun's a better officer than anybody that will leave there for the RNG to decide the battle. So what I do at this point is essentially decide Liu Jun must take the defense of Xiangyang into his own hands. The player character, Liu Jun, is a character with excellent stats. Either way, at this point, I, as the player, have to personally defend this city. My computer allies are not going to be able to get it done. But at this point, I just transfer. But then I'm like, oh, well, if I just go up there, and that'll mess with my ministers. So let me reset my ministers. But I basically, I want to go up there. I don't want to shake up everything. I don't want officers running around all over the map not getting anything done. I just want to personally lead that one battle, and otherwise leave my competent officers in one of my strongest cities so that they can build up forces and hopefully either participate in an attack and help me out, or possibly after I've defeated Zhao Yun, they'll be able to take that city. Xiangyang, I guess it was. Because honestly, that wasn't that tough a fight. I had the man advantage going in. If I'd let a computer general attack, they would have lost more troops. But that was not a fight in that last video where the human player was needed to pull off a victory against big odds or anything like that. So we can still have the forces in this city, Wuling, possibly take Xiangyang. But I am going to have to personally defend that city from Zhao Yun. There's just no way. We'd have to have a lot of troops up there, and we don't have time to get that to happen. So what I'm doing is agreeing to anything anybody suggests just to build up rapport and to keep officers from being idle. But if anybody suggests something I think is really good, I'll push up how much I want done. But honestly, the only city that doesn't already have elite troops is the one we're riding to. And that city is not going to get elite troops in the time that we have left in this scenario. So other than increasing fealty, there's nothing where it's worth it to really try to push hard to get things done. I think I'm probably at some point need to check on that, though. How close am I to having elite troops in that city? Ding Feng riding to the aid of Yu Zhang. In the last video, that was a tense moment. In this video, we know that we're okay. These guys are about to defend Changsha, at which point I'll want to quickly disperse them so that they can Zhuran-Ran-Ran's forces. Now, Zhuran was also a pretty big part of the fire attack against Liu Bei, if I recall correctly. But yeah, we'll want Changsha and Wu Ling under this new strategy. We may want them to attack Jiangling instead of us. Because that, once they attack, that will trigger Zhao Yun to attack. And Liu Jun will personally be in charge of the defenses at Xiangyang and be positioned to defeat Zhao Yun. Then the issue will be that we'll take Jiangling, and there'll be a monster counterattack by Zhuge Liang, but there's nothing for it. We are going to have to use everything at our disposal to fight off over 100,000 troops led by arguably the best officer in the game. There's no, you know, there's no tactic which is going to get us out of fighting that battle by ourselves. Or is there? Well, we'll see. At the end of the day, we have to take Jiangjia, which as you can see has no frickin' troops left. But we have to take Jiangling first. That's the killer. If we could just attack Xiangjia, this wouldn't really be that bad at all. But taking Jiangling is one thing. But as Zaymont and Tomax could tell you, a sneak attack on Washington, D.C. is one thing. But to hold U.S. territory is all but impossible. And that's what we're doing. This is really a Wu city we're retaking, but at least it is since we defeated and killed Guan Yu. But yeah, taking that city is one thing, but they are going to fight hard to get it back. Meanwhile, we've got a domestic-looking officer going on patrol, and a strategist is going to patrol with them, so I don't know that we're fighting a lot of bandits here. This is where I mull. I notice all my cities have elite troops except Xiangyang, which is, of course, the city that's about to be attacked. And then I look at how close we are to having elite troops and realize, no. There is not enough time left in this game for us to advance up to the 3rd level of excellence. We're at level 2. We're going to have to stay there. However, if fealty goes up, we will get troops back faster. So I'm assigning other people to go on patrol so that Liu Jun is available to support and increase rapport. And also because I don't feel like manually going in and commanding Liu Jun to do patrols, because that keeps me away from keeping an eye on what's going on in these individual battles. Nothing a whole lot more interesting going on to watch than this fight. He wants to train Spear. So I guess I went ahead and, yeah, I just went against what I was saying I was going to do. I did boost the training goals for them, but it's not really going to make a difference. I could have rejected, or I could have given them very easy goals to reach. And again, I'm like, I got until, okay, capture that city by December 31st. It's not just attacking it to trigger the counterattack. I have to actually take it, which is an important distinction, because I think I was dicking around with the idea that I could really build up that city before Zhao Yun attacks, launch a wimpy little attack against Jiangling to trigger the counterattack, then intentionally withdraw, fight off Zhao Yun, and then launch a monster attack on Jiangling so they had a lot of troops ready to go when Zhuge Liang counterattacks. Now that's cheating a bit because you're acting on perfect knowledge of what's going to happen when you take Jiangling. But the whole novel is full of people like, you know, something shocking happens and the underlings report and the main strategist goes, ha ha ha, just as I foresaw. It's always based on the idea that there's some genius strategist who knows what's coming. But in this case, what I think past JG was noting at this point was that while we have time, we don't have time to just completely chillax and build up Xiangyang, is that the name of the city that's just off screen now? We don't have time to really just chill out and let that build up. We're going to have to attack Jiangling, and as you see, they're wounded as 30k. So I got some wounded coming back, some returnees, etc. But in fact, if we wait around until everybody's hitting their maximum troop counts, Xiangyang is going to get more out of waiting than we will. But at the end of the day, I've just decided, you know what? I've got to build up Xiangyang. Make sure that I can actually fight off Zhao Yun. As soon as we fight off Zhao Yun, not even as soon as we fight off Zhao Yun, we're going to probably, yeah, we have to attack Xiangyang or Zhao Yun won't attack. But I'm going to try to attack Xiangyang with enough troops that they can take Xiangyang without Liu Jun being directly involved, so that Liu Jun is stationed in Xiangyang when Zhao Yun launches his counterattack. And then from there, our blessing is Yang'an is farther from Xiangyang than Xiangyang is. So whatever we have, we just have to have enough troops left that after we defeat Zhao Yun, we have enough to fight off Zhuge Liang. And that's going to be a nasty fight. We just really have to hope that we've still got our allied cities still have some troops, that Xiangyang can start recovering itself enough to lend some troops to the battle once it's back in our hands, etc. And I don't know when to introduce this, because I don't know when past JG thinks of it. But yeah, I think he's thinking about it right now. Yu Zhang and Lu Jiang, should they be marching to help out? They're awfully far away. Or should they start attacking Zhangjia, so that, in theory, if we take Xiangyang and then Zhangjia falls immediately after, we don't need to beat Zhuge Liang. We just need to take Zhangjia faster than Zhuge Liang can break through Xiangyang. So it's a very careful timing game. With Zhuge Liang leading a massive army from the heart of Shu to rescue Liu Bei, and our main objective is to defeat Liu Bei, because defeating Liu Bei will crush the spirit of the Shu army. Why would you stop and fight Zhuge Liang's hordes if you've got Liu Bei at your mercy, and you just need to defeat him before Zhuge Liang can rescue him? So basically what past JG is thinking about right now is we don't want to waste time. We don't want our clock to run out while we're still fighting for the city. Should I be attacking these cities simultaneously? Should I attack this one first and have just a little wait before we send in an attack on Liu Bei's city? That's the kind of questions that I'm asking myself in the past. Now, what's difficult about doing post-commentary, because we don't have enough gold to use heavy archers, so we've got a shitty unit of light bows coming out. That's going to be kind of rough. But one of the difficulties of doing past commentary, or post-commentary, is I know that I talked a little bit about what happens in the novel. I'm not sure when I'll have time to do that, actually. But in fact, the way this essentially went down is a bit like what I'm attempting to do right now. Wu manages to... well, actually, the big events at the end, I don't know if it's really accurate to say that they captured Xiangyang to encircle Liu Bei. I really don't remember. But the point was that Liu Bei had a massive army camped in Wu territory, sufficiently deep into Wu territory that Zhuge Liang wasn't going to be able to get there in time to really help, because Zhuge Liang was left behind during the invasion of Wu because he opposed it. Essentially, Zhuge Liang didn't think it was just. He thought that Shu should be concentrating on defeating Wei, and that Liu Bei's personal quest for vengeance for his fallen brothers is a mistake, which is completely borne out by what ultimately happens. But when Liu Bei's camps get burned out by Liu Jun, Liu Bei is forced into a retreat. And then we get into like the crazy goofiness that is the Stone Sentinel base. So I'm going ahead and, just for the sake of rapport, letting people do whatever it is they say they want to do. But I know full well that once those troops arrive at Xiangyang, a counterattack will be triggered, and all those officers will be recalled from their missions before they can do them, but at no harm to their rapport with Liu Jun. So I think what I'm thinking now is I may have time to sneak in another patrol, because I don't need to march out of my city until Zhao Yun has arrived. I'll help you work on culture in this city, which is about to be attacked. That seems like the most important thing right now. So, Bougie. Bougie is launching his attack. Reporting. Enemy reinforcements. Ah, who leads them? Blah, blah, blah. Good grief. The dragon has moved. I must be talking about something now, but who knows what Task JG is on about. So now we've got 75,000 troops under Zhao Yun coming to attack. We only have less than 55 to repel them. So the best I can hope for is being outnumbered about 3-2. Certainly not insurmountable in this game, not even close. Especially once you have the player character in control. If you have a few officers with decent skills, you're in good shape. What I don't know at this point is whether after defeating Liu Bei, we then go into the next major battle for Wu, which is when Cao Pi decides to attack them. But don't worry about that, folks. I didn't know it as I played, but as we will find out, no. In fact, defeating Liu Bei triggers the ending of this scenario. And we don't have to fight a big battle against Wei here. So the cities of Wei are essentially irrelevant. Nothing you can do will trigger them to attack you. It's all a series of battles against Shu. So I form up automatically. We're using heavy units and not elite because we have not developed a high enough level of drill at these cities, but we always knew there wouldn't be time to do it. We got 57 troops that are staying back in the barracks. There's, you know, that's fine. We've got gold. I briefly toy with using gold to buy siege weapons that we can use if we have to attack Xiangyang. But we left Yufan, Mr. Beardo, behind, and now we're ready to fight off Zhao Yun. The Battle of Xiangyang, Liu Jun against Zhao Yun is about to begin. We definitely want to control this one, because this will be the most important battle in the whole thing until we have to face Zhuge Liang. Our defensive battles were fairly simple. This one, not so much. So, we've got a big city. We've got 3 gates. We've got a camp behind their lines. If we had them outnumbered, we could deploy troops out there and try to go on the offense against them. We do not have them outnumbered. So it's going to be a good idea for us to use our own gates and defenses to our advantage. So it's a question now of how we want to split the troops. I got a lot of archers. My idea essentially is to turtle, put archers on the walls, shoot at the people who are attacking the gates, hope we can whittle down their numbers enough that if they eventually break through the gates, they no longer have the numerical advantage. However, our problem is going to be that by having lots of archers, if they do break through the gates, an army led by Zhao Yun is likely to be an army made up of cavalry. So, cavalry are very strong against archers in this game. So, I'm bringing Liu Jun and another archer unit over here. I'm hoping that I can get them to attack the gate that has all the castle defenses nearby. These guys, in order to defend that one gate that's off by itself, if they go after that gate, which I'm hoping they don't, the only camp that's nearby is outside. So I'm going to throw a couple of guys there, and as soon as the battle starts, they're going to race behind the gates, get up there and defend. Possibly this is a mistake if it draws the AI to attack those gates rather than moving in towards the nearest gate or the gate that already has troops at it. But the possibility that the AI decides to attack that gate and I have nobody there to defend it is unacceptable. Because by the time my other forces get to that gate, the gate will be halfway dead. And if I'm going to leave gates undefended and have to rush troops there to help them out, I'm better off having that be the gates that at least have some freaking defenses that are like already there. So in fact, even though Liu Jun, my best unit, is over there with the 2 main gates that I'm hoping they attack, the bulk of my army is actually positioned near the gate that I'm hoping they don't attack. And again, as soon as we get rolling, I'm pulling them back. I need the cavalry unit to actually defend, like sit in a gate and fight off their guys. And the best thing that can actually happen is that they split and they don't all attack one gate, although that's not true. If they all attack one gate and Liu Jun is guarding that gate, that's what we really want, because Liu Jun has a fire attack, and I'll win the same way I won the Zhou Yu scenario. Zhou Yu tactics against Zhao Yun. I'll win the same way I won the Zhou Yu scenario if that happens. I'll just keep launching fire attacks outside of the gate. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 10 styles. And it does look like they're moving in towards that gate, so I want to get Liu Jun up here and ready to start using fire attacks as soon as possible. I couldn't be so lucky as for them to attack the gate to the far northeast of the map, assuming the top of the screen is north, which I don't know for sure. I couldn't be that lucky, but unfortunately, no. Looks like I was wrong, and they are going to split, but most of their guys are coming after the base. I don't want them to attack. But they got caught up on attacking that camp, which is good because it gives my archers a little bit of time to retreat. But we see somebody setting up an actual battering ram, which is not good news for us. So this is the battle where we really find out, does JG know enough about the command inputs now to order his men to attack the battering ram rather than the unit that set it up? Because that's going to be important. So my troops managed to get behind the wall without taking any damage. That guy set up a battering ram and then withdrew. And I'm worried here as I look at that arrow that my guys are going to go outside and attack the battering ram hand to hand. But in fact, despite what the blue arrows seem to indicate, my archers standing on the wall are shooting arrows at the battering rams. And as Age of Empire 2's fans know, you can upgrade battering rams a whole bunch of times before they get really, really resistant to arrow fire. These guys are attacking the camp. We've got, what's her name, Ma Yun Lu. She's a fun character to see actually getting some use in the game. Luckily, I've got good enough stats and troop counts on these archer units that battering ram is going to get killed before it does any real damage. Which means that I have to be more concerned about Zhao Yun himself and Ma Yun Lu down there and what they're going to do to that gate than I really need to be too worried about the battering ram. But oddly enough, they're not even going to finish off that base. They got confused, but now they're using the quickening. So Zhao Yun is getting drilled with arrows. I have to think about whether I want my cavalry unit to come out. I'm not going to do that until they get in trouble. Here's where I'm really worried, though. We've got a unit up here building a siege ladder. And this is going to be where we really run into some difficulty. If they get a siege ladder set up, they'll be able to swarm us with cavalry. And archers fighting in close range with cavalry is not going to go my way. Really, we are going to be in pretty big trouble if any of these gates go. We've got another round of defenses to hide behind. But I think at this point, past JG notices that something's being built. I don't know that I'm focusing on that more than I'm focusing on Zhao Yun. I'm kind of hoping the fire attack here will take out the siege ladder. Don't know whether it affects the siege ladder or not. And I guess I was hoping the siege ladder went up like the instant the fire attack was successful. So we are in a bad place already. Right off the bat, this is not going well. I was hoping the fire attack would repulse the unit that was trying to build the siege ladder. Now I'm trying to attack the siege ladder. But this guy is already climbing the siege ladder. And we're not going to knock out the siege ladder. Now Ma Yun Lu is going up the siege ladder too. She stopped building whatever she was building to climb the siege ladder. And there's no way we can kill the siege ladder before their guys are over. Zhao Yun, on the other hand, has stopped attacking that gate. He also left that camp alone because he is going to rush that siege ladder too. I mean, that's the correct strategy. Now they've got the siege ladder set up. They want to crush, or rather, they want to get as many troops in there as they can. So, things not going that well right now, guys. This is not what we wanted to have happen. But, you know, a determined attack, like if you can just turtle and you're unbeatable, which tends to be the case in our TK10, that wouldn't be fair. So I think siege ladders are an interesting addition to the game. But yeah, it's kind of tough to defend a city against superior forces when they've got siege technology. Looks like Ma Yun Lu did set up that battering ram after all. So we got Liu Jun destroying the battering ram, because if the gate goes down, we are fucked. Siege ladder, we might be able to force them back. Gate goes down, there is no way. We are totally wrecked if that gate goes down. So I've got Liu Jun attacking the battering ram. Got everyone else rushing over to help. At this point, past JG is a little panicked. I'm checking everyone else's skills. Does anybody have anything that we can use to hold them at that siege ladder so that Liu Jun can be positioned to destroy the siege ladder with archery fire? And I have my answer. This is where things get interesting. I just blanked. I did not notice his name, but you see the guy with the beard there? Mr. Beardo. A lot of guys in this game have beards, of course. I'm going to get my cavalry up. That's not cavalry. He's got Iron Wall. Why am I using Iron Wall? I guess I'm using Iron Wall because he's stuck fighting in close range and I don't want him to get wiped out. But you'll see one of my civilian-looking type officers rushing over with his 9,500 troops. He had a technique which will be useful to us here. So now, even though you used Iron Wall, Zhu Sheng, we're going to move you back and let Ling Tong, an actual playable Dynasty Warriors character, usually a good indication that someone is going to be a good officer to use, although there are exceptions, like Liu Shan. We're going to try to get Ling Tong up there on the wall to try to hold those cavalry at bay. But our real plan now is Liu Kai. Liu Kai has misinformation strategy. And if... Oh, past JG doesn't realize it yet. So now, okay, you know where I'm going, but past JG is not actually noticing this yet. He's, past JG is still like, okay, let's arrange our archers. Maybe, Ling Tong will get, like, you know, ultimate medal of all-time valor if this works, but I'm like, get Ling Tong in there to plug the wall, or the gap, and then have our guys just beat on them with archers and hope Ling Tong can last long enough to kill them off. Because it's tight enough space, he won't be able to get pincered. He'll be outnumbered, but at least he can keep them from advancing, and maybe they can get peppered with enough archery fire that they won't be able to push through and take out the castle defenses and just basically break through. Meanwhile, I think that the siege... Oh, now Zhao Yun's going up, so we're really fucked. Except that I already gave away what we're going to do to get out of this. JG Mystery of the Past has not figured it out yet, but JG Mystery of the Future knows what JG Mystery of the Past eventually got to. So we lose our tower defense here. We've still got some back there, catapults. Ling Tong is holding his own, but not doing fantastic. I think I'm waiting on enough strategy points to do a... Yeah, I'm like, can I pull out here and just attack this thing real quick? Can I attack from this distance? Is it too far away? Fire technique? Can I use it on that wall? I believe the answer is no. So I'm going to move Liu Jun over here to continue shooting at these guys in the hopes that he can help. But no, the big strategic thing I've got to come up... I'm not coming up with yet. But I've got Liu Kai moving into position to try to take out that siege tower. If I take it out now, they're stuck up there. Meanwhile, the quickening's still going on. I've got cavalry coming out to attack him, so I know he's got to pull back. Because he's not gonna last against that. So I pull him back, and this might be where I finally figure it out. Now I'm just like, crowd everyone I can up here and hope that... Yeah, this is not a good move, but it won't work anyway. I can't launch a fire attack on the wall. So my hope was, well, if I got them all gathered together, I can at least do some damage. And eventually I'm like, no, not a good idea. It's a good thing this won't work because it's not the right tactic. What I need to do, and what desperation and not being able to fall back on the fire attack allows me to finally figure out, is the misinformation tactic is what I really need. Luckily, none of those officers are high intelligence, because I think there's a chance it fails against high intelligence. Zhao Yun's not low intelligence, he's just basically a good leader. So, the way that tactic works, and this is a common ploy throughout the novel, is that there's some kind of, you know, an office that, like, there's a distraction attack or something launched against the main camp. Forces go back to defend their main camp and find out that that it was really just a distraction. It happens several times where you're tricked into attacking the wrong target. Stay on target. So that's essentially what the misinformation tactic is. They are now rushing back to defend their main camp. Never found it that useful in previous games. I usually just like something that will allow me to actually kill the enemy. But here it was exactly what we needed, because once they back off, they will not be gone for long, but I've got all these ranged units here, and you see me carefully making sure everyone is attacking that siege ladder. Once they get off that siege ladder, and like inching the controller around to not accidentally attack that unit, once they're off that siege ladder, I'm like, please don't wear off until the siege ladder's gone. Yes, the siege ladder is gone. Suddenly, things are looking a lot less grim. Ling Tong's unit knocked down to almost half strength from that brief period fighting off all that crazy Zhao Yun, Ma Yun Lu cavalry. But now with the siege ladder gone, we're back to where we were. We can hide behind our walls, we can put our archers up on the walls, and Lu Jun, because misinformation tactic doesn't take that much strategy points, or morale points, or whatever those little yellow blocks represent. Once misinformation wears off and they're back attacking that gate, and hopefully they'll continue to press their attack on that gate since they've done some damage to it, we should be able to launch a big, nasty fire attack to kick their ass. Now I've got somebody going where that wall defense used to be, because they did manage to destroy one of our wall defense stationary pieces. But overall, things are just looking way, way better than they were a moment ago. And it's time to call it a video now, because when we come back, past JG is breathing a massive sigh of relief. And present JG is having fun just thinking about how good it felt to knock down that siege ladder. We'll see you guys next time to see whether things continue to go our way.